Hi, this is Nichelle Nichols, and you're listening to TV Confidential. Aren't we all lucky?
Most difficult was the choice of the actor for the characterization of Jesus. It was only after months of consideration that Jeffrey Hunter, young American actor, was chosen because of his rugged strength, personal integrity, and the humility and devotion with which he regarded his role.
Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth.
Roberts, and welcome you back to TV Confidential, a radio talk show about television that will spend the next hour or so talking about Jeffrey Hunter. Jeffrey Hunter, the actor best known for starring opposite John Wayne in the classic John Ford Western, The Searchers, as well as playing Jesus Christ in Nicholas Ray's King of Kings, and Christopher Pike, the first captain of the USS Enterprise in the original pilot episode of Star Trek. As he began his career as a contract player at 20th Century Fox, Jeffrey Hunter had all the makings of a movie star. He was exceptionally handsome, virile, and athletic, not to mention highly respected by his friends, and by all accounts, a genuinely nice person. Jeffrey Hunter was about to enter his third decade as a performer when he died suddenly in May 1969 at the age of 42. His death was a shock to everyone who knew him and left many people wondering what direction his life and career would have gone in had he lived. Some of these questions are answered in a new book by our friend Paul Green. It's called Jeffrey Hunter, the Film, Television, Radio, and Stage Performances. We'll tell you where you can find Paul's book in just a second. But first, Paul, welcome back to the program.
Hello, Ed. It's good to be back.
Also joining us tonight is our friend Mary Ann Anderson. Mary, of course, is the author of 3 books on the life and career of Ida Lupino, including Ida Lupino Beyond the Camera and The Making of the Hitchhiker Illustrated. Mary also knew Jeffrey Hunter. Her mother, actress Emily McLaughlin of General Hospital, married Jeffrey Hunter just 3 months before he died. Mary, always good to see you.
And wonderful to be here.
Paul, Mary, as we just mentioned, Mary knew Jeff personally. Her mom knew Jeff personally. You were a big fan of Jeffrey Hunter, so writing this book had meaning for you personally.
Yes, I've always been a fan of Jeffrey Hunter for some reason or other. When I was a kid, his performances always attracted me. I always thought he always had a good screen persona. He always seemed to be like upbeat, and it just sort of personified a certain American attitude, that you didn't get in English movies. I mean, he was very American in that way. I mean, he couldn't be any other nationality. He had a lot of the virtues and values of what you would call the American hero.
Plus, I know that you've always been a fan, and you've gone on to become a very accomplished scholar of both Western films and Westerns on television, and I would imagine the fact that Hunter did a lot of Westerns, particularly in the first decade of his career, that kind of added to the appeal of him.
Oh yeah, that definitely attracted me to Jeff Hunter, because obviously you had The Searchers, which is acknowledged now as one of the top Westerns of all time by the American Film Institute. When I was watching that in the 60s, it didn't have quite the following that it's got in the decades that have followed. It was basically another John Wayne Western, another John Ford Western that was an accomplished Western. But in recent times, I think the story's got so many racial aspects to it that it actually strikes a chord with modern audiences.
Well, we've talked about this before a lot on the program. Sometimes it takes a few years, or sometimes it may even take a couple of decades for a film to really be appreciated for what it was.
Yeah, I always remember reading something that this old Star Trek actor DeForest Kelley said, and he said when you make a film, sometimes it's best not to watch it for at least 10 years to see the dust settle and to see its true value. And it's true, because sometimes you get films that are lauded on release just because of the hype, and then 10 years later they're completely forgotten, and then you've got films that are sleepers, and they have a lasting value, and that's the same with The Searchers. It wasn't John Ford's major success for John Ford on its release, but it's just gained more of a reputation, and obviously the fact that people like Steven Spielberg and George Lucas acknowledged it as an inspiration for their films has helped a lot, because Star Wars basically has a Searchers theme at the beginning of the film.
We're talking to Paul Green. Paul's latest book is Jeffrey Hunter, the film, television, radio, and stage performances, a comprehensive look at Jeffrey Hunter's career that features interviews with Robert Wagner, Barbara Rush, Phyllis Diller, Peggy King, Herb Solow, Lord J. Swartz, and other friends and colleagues of Jeffrey Hunter. Jeffrey Hunter, the film, television, radio, and stage performances, is available through Amazon.com, McFarlandPub.com, Paul's own website, which is thevirginiantv.wordpress.com, and wherever books are sold online. Also with us this hour is our friend Mary Ann Anderson. Mary's books on film and television include Ida Lupino, Beyond the Camera, and The Making of the Hitchhiker Illustrated. Her mother, Mary's mother, Emily McLaughlin, was married to Jeffrey Hunter at the time of Hunter's death in May 1969. Plus, Mary appears in the documentary on Jeffrey Hunter produced by E! Entertainment Television. We're talking before we started recording. Jeffrey Hunter, he had classic movie star looks. He had all the appearances of being a movie star, and you can attest to this, Mary, because you knew him. He didn't act like a movie star. He was as well-rounded, as grounded a person as a Hollywood actor could be.
He was a very sweet, caring man. He made the most incredible peanut butter and jelly sandwich. He'd mix in different jellies, and just sweet, caring person. Very, very handsome. And yes, those blue eyes are absolutely gorgeous.
Those blue eyes were gorgeous, but sometimes they worked against him, Paul. And we were talking about we were talking about The Searchers. I understand that John Ford originally had reservations about casting him because he was too good-looking.
Yeah, he actually came in to the casting session roughed up slightly, so to get the role, and it worked. Because it was up against Robert Wagner for that role, and Robert Wagner wanted that badly because he knew what an important film it was. So Jeff beat Robert Wagner, and Robert Wagner got Prince Valiant.
Yes, Robert Wagner did okay for himself in the long run.
He did okay, but even when I talked to him, he admits that it would have been good to have seen Jeff wearing that wig.
I don't know.
Robert Wagner, by the way, wrote a very, very touching foreword for Paul's book, the name of which is Jeffrey Hunter, the film, television, radio, and stage performances, which is available through McFarlandPub.com. And speaking of wigs, well, of course, when he played Jesus, he didn't wear a wig. He let his hair grow out for that.
Yeah, but he wore, I think he wore prosthetics on his nose, and he had certain, I don't know if there was attachments or not. They did modify his face for that role.
Well, there are certain roles. I mean, when you play someone as mythic as Jesus Christ, it could work against you because you figure, okay, where do you go from there?
Well, Jeff had a few hurdles to overcome because he was known primarily before The Searchers as like a matinee idol type star, but mainly because of his good looks. I mean, he just never aged, and he just had this eternal sort of college boy looks. So when he got the role of Jesus, some of the critics decided he was useless before they'd even seen any footage, and so you got one. I think it was Time magazine saying, calling him, I was a teenage Jesus.
Yeah. But he was the same age as Christ.
I was a teenage werewolf and all those sort of films. And but if you look at it, Jeff was the same age as Jesus.
Yeah, that's what Mary just said.
When he was actually in Jerusalem. So he was the same age. He wasn't a teenager when he made the film. He just looked young, that's all.
Well, what's fun, particularly about the chapter, and you dedicate a very lengthy chapter on King of Kings in in Jeffrey Hunter, the film, television, radio, and stage performances, is when you read some of the criticism, and not just newspaper or movie reviewers, but just your special interest groups, or what we would call special interest groups today. It doesn't matter who would have played Jesus; they would have knocked the film anyway.
Oh no, you can't win with that role. Because,
that's right.
If a Westerner plays it, then why doesn't he look more Jewish? And then if a Jewish person plays it, then they'll start complaining about that as well. So these groups, you can't win. I mean, interestingly, the Catholic Church didn't have bad things to say about the film. They were pretty much giving advice from early on. It was only, if you look at the reviews, they're not that bad, actually. I mean, it's been sort of swayed that it was universally criticised for that film. It wasn't. There was quite a lot of good reviews at the time. But it seems like these bad reviews sort of just caught the public attention more.
Well, and that's that. It still works that way even today. I mean,
it does.
I mean, when you have a soundbite like teenage Jesus, that's the one that people remember. But
it's like the Mel Gibson film. I mean, that was a pretty faithful rendition. But then you get these pressure groups who've decided it's a terrible film before they've even watched it.
Yes, but
most of them won't even watch it, and they'll still say it's a terrible film.
Exactly, and we've had conversations about this. They will say things like that just to get noticed, or they have ulterior motives, that have nothing to do with the film.
And having watched the film to review it from my book, and I have to watch it quite a few times to get into it. I mean, it's not a perfect film because it puts too much emphasis on the character of Barabbas. And if you're looking for that in a biblical context, Barabbas, he's got one line in the Bible, but they're putting this subtext of Judas Iscariot being conflicted between Barabbas and Jesus. Well, that's completely a fictitious sort of generation. I mean, that wasn't actually in the Bible.
Well, yes, but remember, in Hollywood, everyone takes liberties.
Well, they take liberties, yeah.
Jeff,
I mean, some critics have said there wasn't enough of Jesus' miracles in King of Kings, and that it was showing a human Jesus who really didn't display his powers like it does in the Bible. But I think that adds some weight to the film's power, because Jeff's performance in that film is very sensitive. I think his performance is one of his best. I mean, he's got his looks, he's got his blue eyes. Jesus wouldn't have had blue eyes in all probability. And so you've got that people will always say, well, Jesus didn't look like that. But if you look at the essence of what Jeff is putting into the performance, he's putting in the compassionate side of Jesus.
Jeff told me he considered that not a heavenly role.
Well, yeah, and I can understand, because for the reasons we talked about before. I mean, there's a stigma of playing Jesus, and yet he sort of knew what he was signing up for going in, and to his credit, he fully committed himself to the character.
Yes, he did. He took it very, very seriously. He didn't take it as just another job.
And not only did he take it seriously, and it sounds like this was by design, everybody else associated with that film, they sort of distanced themselves from him because he was playing Jesus. And so it's like you don't...
Yeah, that's right.
You don't hang out with...
He kept to himself, and he didn't mix with the cast in general during the making of that film, just to keep himself a little distance so that they didn't see him as just... another actor. He wanted to create that feeling of mystery and awe about him. That wasn't Jeff. That wasn't him being an egomaniac or anything. That was just him trying to get into the part for the role.
Yeah, so if he were a student of the method, and what one would say, he was drawing on that which he needed to do in order to play the Son of God. But
and obviously, because he put so much effort into the role, the fact that it didn't make the huge profits for the studio, and it affected his future career, obviously had a downside on him. I mean, he invested so much emotionally into that part that the after effects of it had a big knock-on effect for him. I think both on a career level and a bit on an emotional level as well.
Yeah, although there have been other actors to play Jesus before Jeffrey Hunter, there have been other actors who played Jesus after. Max von Sydow, he didn't seem to have an after effect.
Yeah, no, but he wasn't very good either.
Jeff was much better.
Yes, well, that's a very good point, Paul. We're talking to Paul Green. Paul's latest book is Jeffrey Hunter, the film, television, and radio and stage performances. Take a quick time out, then we'll continue our conversation here on TV Confidential. Got a product or service that you want our listeners to know about? Become an advertiser or underwriter of TV Confidential and let our brand help promote your brand. For more information, go to televisionconfidential.com/advertise or visit the TV Confidential page at advertisecast.com.
Buying or selling a home can be one of the most stressful things we'll ever do in life. But it doesn't have to be. And no one knows better than our friends at Front Porch Realty Group. They're a community of realtors serving the Northern Bay Area of California that cares about their clients as individuals first and foremost. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking to lease or sell your property in the Bay Area, Front Porch Realty Group will help you through this important transition by providing you with the right information for your situation while lessening the pain. They also work with a network of realtors throughout California who provide the same high caliber of customer service. Call Front Porch Realty Group at 415-886-7411 for a realtor referral near you. You can also visit their website, frontporchrealtygroup.com, for more information on the services they provide, including upcoming workshops and seminars. For more information, call 415-886-7411 or visit frontporchrealtygroup.com. Front Porch Realty Group. They'll find the solution that works best for you.
We have more than 250 archived editions of TV Confidential available as digital downloads. For more information, go to shop.tvconfidential.net. One more item, the Disneyana Fan Club Collectible Show and Sale is the place to go to find the very best Disney collectibles and products, old and new, for purchase. This year's Disneyana Fan Club Collectible Show and Sale takes place Sunday, May 5th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Delta by Marriott Hotel, located at the corner of Chapman and Harbor, south of Disneyland and Garden Grove, California. Everything Disney will be there that day, including collectibles of all ages, artwork, figurines, stamps, postcards, CDs, and albums. Special guests scheduled to appear that day will include Will Ryan, Margaret Tinkerbell Kelly, and TV Confidential's Greg Ehrbar. There will also be a silent auction, plus door prizes, raffles, and a whole lot more. For tickets and more information, go to DisneyanaFanClub.org, DisneyanaFanClub.org. 5-year archive, plus approximately once a month, confidants will receive special access to the hosts of TV Confidential via Skype, plus confidant-only access to bonus content and more. To find out how you can become a TV Confidential confidant, go to televisionconfidential.com and click the purple Become a TVC Confidant button. Televisionconfidential.com, click the purple button that says Become a TVC Confidant.
If you haven't been listening to TV Confidential, this is who you're missing.
Ben Asner,
Connie Stevens, Dawn Wells,
Eric Braden,
Tony Camille,
Jansen Williams, Don Most, Roy Finnis, Peter Marshall,
Sherry Alberoni,
George Slaughter, Dan Castellaneta, Taylor Hicks,
Lindsay Wagner, Loretta Swett,
And many, many more of your favorite celebrities and people behind the scenes in the world of television. That's TV Confidential. Every week on this station and every day online at televisionconfidential.com.
Alexa users, you can now listen to TV Confidential on your smart speaker just by saying, Alexa, play TV Confidential. Enabling the TV Confidential Alexa skill is easy. To find out how to do it, go to televisionconfidential.com/Alexa.